final video presentation of the project 5, which is the implementation of WebSocket interface for Twitter-like engine. Just to recall, Twitter-like engine API is already been implemented in the first part of the project, and now we are creating a web interface for that Twitter-like engine so that the users can interact with the code. So the first question which might comes into your mind is, why are we using WebSockets over HTTP? Like REST APIs are very famous, and why are we not creating a REST API, and why are we using a WebSocket communication? To answer that question, we need to understand the major difference between the HTTP and WebSocket. So the HTTP is basically like whenever the client hits the URL, there is a connection that has been established, and server will keep sending the response for the requests that client is going to make, or client is going to pull from the server the recent updates to update his front end. So in this example, let's just say that for every second there are like 10 tweets coming, and our client is pulling the feed from the server once every 2 seconds, and you can see there's already a lot of delay and a lot of latency, and it's completely ineffective. WebSocket, on the other hand, it will first initialize a WebSocket communication channel, and once that is done, the server will continuously send messages to the user, and without any user interaction. So once, if say for example, in every second there are like 10 tweets that are coming up, all the 10 tweets will be going to this client without any client interaction, so there is no latency in between, and this is the more effective way of communicating with the client, as long as the feed or anything that will take stream of data considered. So, the way we have implemented this in an Erlang is using Cowboy. So, Cowboy is a very simple, small HTTP server for Erlang users. And the reason why we chose this is the documentation is very clear, and it's very easy to bootstrap an application, and the instructions are given here. And for the more references, you can visit the documentation, the source course, and the GitHub for this is already been it's already been linked. So let's get into the architecture of how this is done. So for registering, the first page, like this, the home page is going to be the register.html, which will contain fields that are required to be registered, and it's very evident in the picture. So once the user fill out all the required fields and click register, the register is going to go to /register endpoint, and that's where the register handler is residing. And the register handling will call the API which has been created in the project for part 1 to create a user. And once the user is created, this the with that username, the register will be redirected to /username and /main. So that's how register is working. Let's see how all the Twitter functionalities are interacting with the server. So whenever the user makes a request for any of the Twitter functionalities, it will go to the main handler, and main handler will go to the server and do the required operations. And once the server responds back, the main handler will send to the feed. You must be thinking, where is WebSockets here? Like, where exactly is this communication coming from? That's where this is coming up. So when the server is sending back to the main handler, the main handler is sending back to the HTML, we mean it's through a channel, it's through a WebSocket communication. It's not a normal request response. It's basically, so the request will be sent through response through WebSocket communication, and whenever there is a feed update for that particular user, the server will send the request, send the data to the user, so that the user can fetch it within milliseconds without any updates. So this is where our WebSocket communication comes into the play. So server can directly send the required teach to the user without any user interaction. So that's pretty much how the architecture is working, and let's see a few routing and connections. So for the routing purposes, we have three major routings. One is for /register, that's where the register handler is residing, and other one is the register page that we have seen in the first page, like in the home page, and you'll get more clarity upon what I'm talking about while we are practically showing it how it works. And there are two connections that are made. As I told you, WebSocket is another socket which is listening to some other port in the server. So the HTTP connection is made through 8081 port, and the WebSocket connection is made through 8889 port. It's a random number that I've chosen, but you can take anything literally. So in the JavaScript of the main.js, in the main.html, we are going to create a WebSocket communication. The snippet is as below. And this is how the sample of the code works like. And don't worry about this. We are going to see the practical implementation in a while. So yeah, that's pretty much sums it up. So let's get to the practical implementation of this. Okay, so now let's see the more practical implementation of this by starting the server. Make run. Okay, now we got an Erlang shell. This means that the server has started at the port 8001. And now this is the login page, and now let's log in with Kaushik and then some random password. So this is how the main feed looks like. The feed will be coming towards the right side. So let's say that Kaushik is saying I'm hashtag happy. That feed will be coming on the right side. So let's create another user. Let's call him Srinivas, and let's give him some email address and some password. Okay. So now the Srinivas is also tweeting I'm hashtag happy too. And is tweeting it. But Kaushik wouldn't know about it because these both are not at all connected. So let's change that, and let's write the subscriber name here. So now Kaushik is subscribing to Srinivas. That means every tweet now from Srinivas from now will be on the Kaushik's tweet. Let's check this. So let's say that he has written something like this is amazing, and let's have an hashtag here too. Now Kaushik should get this. Will he get it? Yeah, Kaushik got this, and if you can see, Kaushik didn't do anything. He just got the tweet, and that's how the WebSocket communication is working. Now I want to know all the tweets that are having happy hashtag. Yeah, that are happy. So I'm gonna search, and I got two because Kaushik did one and Srinivas did one. That's amazing. Now let's check for amazing. So because there's another tweet. It's amazing. Now let's mess up the spelling on purpose. We got no results, and that's how the hashtags are working. So now let's create a whole new user, and let's call him K. And let's give him some random email, and let's give him some random password. So now K has no idea who is Srinivas and who is Kaushik. So let's say that Srinivas right now is subscribing to Kate's tweet. So he's gonna just write K and subscribe. So now Kaushik is subscribed to Srinivas tweets and Srinivas is subscribed to K tweet. So now K is gonna tweet by saying, hello there, fella. So now K tweeted this, and obviously Srinivas will get this because he's subscribed to it, but Kaushik won't be getting it because Kaushik is not subscribed to K. But let's say that Srinivas is retweeting this, and we got another retweet by Srinivas, and this retweet will be gone to Kaushik's feed. So, and that's how it's done. So that's how retweet is done, and now so Kaushik is subscribed to Srinivas, right? So let's just search for Srinivas's tweets, and this is amazing, and he has three tweets. One is a retweet, and I'm happy to, and these are the tweets that are tweeted by Srinivas. So, and that's how it's done. So now let's say that he's Kaushik is mentioning Srinivas. Hello, Srinivas. And now let's see if Srinivas got it. He got it because even though Srinivas is not subscribed to Kaushik, he would get the mail. He would get the tweet because he has been mentioned in the tweet. So now let's do a like a search on mention. So let's say I want all the tweets that are mentioned that has mentioned Srinivas. So I'm gonna search for it. It says hello Srinivas, and that's how that's done too. So this is how the project is continuously being done. Whenever you tweet, and whoever is subscribed to you will get that. So let's say K has tweeted some random thing. Srinivas is gonna get that, but Kaushik is not gonna get that. But if Srinivas has retweeted this, Kaushik is gonna get it because Kaushik is subscribed to Srinivas, not to K, and that's how it's done. So this is how the final project has been done, and thank you so much. I